I'm Sil Gonzalez. I'm the CEO of Forge Specialty Partners. We're an oral surgery group based out of Charleston, South Carolina. And we're in 5 states currently, and we're focused on bringing together oral surgeons that are like-minded in their desire to grow and also want to be a part of a bigger community, a bigger group of affiliated surgical practices outside of that private equity controlled space. That's actually an interesting question, right? I think that what we have seen with the industry here in the last couple of years, especially since the rising interest rates environment that we've been in and those types of things, has been a shift from, growth for the sake of growth to a more disciplined approach whereby results, integration, and really putting together a comprehensive platform matters. And when you look at the groups that are out there being successful, those are the ones that are really, delivering value to their shareholders and to their partners. So I think the biggest challenge in scaling is really, growing in scale itself, right? There's going to be challenges with bringing on platforms that are different from yours. And that integration adds a level of complexity to the process that by having standardized systems, processes, and vendors that are able to provide that for you when needed, you can achieve better results long-term and, really adapt to that scale in a more comprehensive way. I think for TST and our partnership with them, the neat thing about it has been that they are able to provide us, a single point of contact, a single source vendor for what has been typically kind of like a, hodgepodge of different vendors that you inherit as you go through and, acquire different platforms and different groups. And, it adds a level of standardization that is key for us in being able to scale rapidly and appropriately. And then it also, adds a level of predictability that we like. I think the best part about it has been, the confidence of knowing that they can come into, a new group that we're looking at and give us a really, practical assessment of what, we need to do to make sure that we integrate them appropriately, that they're going to be compliant with us and with our systems. And they can also let us know ahead of time, hey, look, here's where your challenges are going to be. And it gives us more predictability around the end result, as well as the ability to go out and really be focused on, hey, here's how we're going to be able to do this successfully once we pull the trigger on bringing those people on board. I think really, here in Charleston, for example, for us, it's been, a situation where we have worked with one provider before you guys came on board. And, it was okay, right? But I think the real difference and the real value has been in, having you guys come on board, look at things with a new set of eyes and be able to make recommendations that have led us to be able to keep our uptime, has improved significantly. We've been able to address issues with our infrastructure itself that perhaps we were blind to before. So I think it's been a good transition for us in terms of, that piece of it, adding, more certainty around, what we're doing, and then having, the partner able to actually make that happen in a way that, has allowed us to make it seamless. The cool thing about it is that the feedback's been really nice. And I think when you start a new relationship with everybody, you go in with the best expectations. And, but the reality of it is that you're not always going to get it right. But what I have been impressed with is that also has its own process, and that we're able to do kind of a look back at it and say, okay, where do we improve? And, the willingness on the TST side to be able to do that, in a very transparent way, in and of itself builds confidence for me in the long term. I think so far what it's been able to add is a partner that we can trust to move forward with, that can add that predictability that we're looking for, that can bring to the table actual systems and processes that have been tried and true and worked in larger scale platforms like the one we're trying to build. And that partnership in and of itself has led us to make changes that have been impactful with the practices and the support levels that we're able to provide our affiliated partners. When you're kind of, especially in a growth mode, and also working with a lot of different partners, and very busy with compliance and clinical and all these other things that you end up touching as a CEO on a daily basis, it does give you a certain level of assurance to be able to have this very large and impactful segment of our business managed by people that know what they're doing, that have experience in the actual industry, right? Because the impressive part about TST is that they've been working in the oral surgery space for so long. They're so familiar with practice management systems and the technology that actually is in an oral surgery practice. So it gives you a layer of confidence to be able to say, hey, look, I've got a trusted partner that's going to do this. They're going to support my team appropriately. And I don't have to touch it all the time like I used to have to before we brought TST on. So that piece of it has, led me to be able to save some of my time for other things. And also at the same time, with the partnership and our system of getting together on a periodic basis, still maintain the pulse on it. So it's been really good. I would say, definitely take a close look, really take stock in, what they're able to provide. And if it's something where you're remotely, compatible in terms of what you're looking for long-term, definitely take the chance and jump on board, because, I think one of the most impressive things about it for me is that, Todd, y'all CEO is fantastic in terms of, presentation and those types of things. But, he also does deliver exactly as he says he will, which, if you're in this industry, you're constantly getting pitches for a lot of different things. And, the success ratios are highly variable. But the impressive thing about it has been that even through the, times that we've had some challenges, he still is a man of his word, and he comes through with what he says he's going to. And I think, to me, that's very impressive.